Have you been studying or working with the law of attraction, but really don't know what you're going to do to manifest that money that you want to make in your life? My name's Kalia, and today I'd like to talk to you about praying and moving your feet, so to speak. How can you take the law of attraction and apply it in a way that you can actually create an income in your life? Now, the first thing that we do when we're trying to manifest is that we need a really solid picture of what we want to create in our life. And what I would invite you to do, it's great to have a financial figure. It's great to say, I want to make 10 or 20,000 a month. And the next question is going to be, how am I going to do this? When you're working with the principles of the law of attraction, it's more important to focus on the what and not the how. But you need to trust that the how is going to show up at some point. So you don't want to continually disregard the how either. So what I'm going to invite you to do is to get really clear on what your goal is. Whether it's a financial goal or a business goal, do you have a business that you're working with? Are you employed and want to move up in your company? Are you employed and want to be self-employed? So get really clear on what your goal is. And then listen. After you're really clear on what your goal is, be still and listen, and really listen for what is inspiring you. Really listen for the ideas that are presenting themselves to you. And when you get an idea, I'm going to give you an example of someone who came to me who didn't know what she wanted to do. She just knew that she wanted to make a certain amount of income so that she could have more freedom. And as we started working together, she started to get more clear because she had the real clear picture of how much income she wanted to make. And then she became clear about what she wanted to do to create that income. And it wasn't about immediately going, well, how am I going to do that? How am I going to make that kind of money? It was more deciding that she was going to make that kind of money, putting that money out there as a goal. And then as the work unfolded, she started to become clear. It's like the way was shown. And that way was not shown in the beginning. It never is. If you have a goal of a business, for example, say you decide you're going to start a particular online business, but you don't know how you're going to get from point A, which is no money, to point B, which is 10,000 plus a month, then what you need to do is just get really clear that you want to make $10,000 a month in your business and start listening for the ideas. And that's what this person that I worked with did, is she got really clear about what she wanted to do after she made her goal, after she put her goal out there, that the way was shown. And that way can be shown in bits and pieces. It may not be a big aha. It could be shown in pieces. And so you've got to be willing to listen and stay open. But also when that way is shown, when you're given an idea, for example, then it's going to be important to feel inspired or excited by that idea. It has to feel in alignment with who you are. Because I believe when you are setting out to create a business or a job or anything that you're setting out to do, you need to feel good about it, right? Otherwise, you're not in integrity with yourself. You're not being true to yourself. And I believe the greatest wealth that we can have in our life, and I'm not talking about just financial wealth, but health, vitality, relationships, things like that. All overall wealth is going to come from being true to yourself. And if you're not true to yourself, then you're not going to feel inspired. So you're really waiting on inspired action. And you don't have to be waiting years for inspired action. If you're waiting years, something's not right. I remember talking to someone who was working a dead-end job, and she started doing the manifestation work, and 2 years later, she's like, well, I'm still working this dead-end job and this isn't working for me. I don't have what I want. And my response was, well, are you listening? My guess was that she needed to take some sort of action that she wasn't taking. She was just waiting for that money to arrive. She's waiting for the check to arrive, but it wasn't coming to her through her current dead-end job because that's not how the money was supposed to come to her. Maybe she had business ideas but didn't have the confidence to think that she could actually make it happen. So she just dismissed it. And the thing is that we do have to rise up in confidence. When we're working with manifestation, it's asking us to grow. We cannot manifest from the same level we're currently at. We have to grow. We have to become greater than who we were. That person that's poor isn't going to become rich from that poor mindset. The mindset has to change. The confidence level has to change. The belief in yourself has to change. So there's real personal growth work that is required to rise up to a higher level of being, to be operating at a higher level. So now you're the person that can take those chances and take those steps and start that business and communicate with people and do all of those things that your old self was afraid to do. You just didn't have the confidence. So if you're somebody that doesn't have the confidence and you're sitting on the sofa waiting to win the lottery, and I've had this conversation with people before, I'm not saying you can't win the lottery, but most of us, that's not our destiny to win the lottery, to just sit on the sofa and buy lottery tickets every week. We're alive for a reason. We have gifts, we have talents, we have abilities, and life is asking us to serve in some capacity. So what you're really doing is seeking out your calling, the way in which you can serve humanity by being your true self, by using your gifts, by using your talents, by using your skills, and stepping out into the marketplace in some way and bringing yourself forward. So we're being asked by life to step into higher and higher versions of ourselves. And as we step into higher versions of ourselves, we step into greater self-worth. When we do something that we were formerly afraid to do, we build that confidence in ourselves. And I've done this a lot in my life where, I started out as just a scared kid who couldn't do anything. I couldn't speak in front of people. I couldn't sing in front of people. I couldn't do anything because I was terrified. And I had to overcome it all. And I overcame all of those blocks and barriers in my life simply by seeing that version of myself that was already doing it. So when I got my first opportunity at the age of 26 to teach a class at a university on smoking cessation, I was terrified. I could have said, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't have what it takes. It terrifies me. I'm afraid. But instead, I said yes. And I started seeing that version of myself that could go in there and do it. And I started doing self-hypnosis. And by the time the opportunity came for me to teach that class, I showed up exactly as I had in my mind. And that's what we have to do is we have to play that version of ourselves in our mind that is having the level of success that we want. So I saw myself in front of that class. I saw myself walking into the room with my materials, confident, strong. My shoulders were back. My head was high. I was a confident person. And that's exactly how I showed up when it was time for me to teach that class. And I did have a certain fake it till you make it, but I made it. And each time I said yes to something that terrified me, I built the awareness that I could do it. So it was the same thing. I'm a musician and a performer. It was the same thing with performing. I was terrified to be in front of people. And the first time that I got out and sang a solo and I didn't die, then I had the confidence to do it again and then to do it again. And then it became easier and easier and easier to step out on that stage and perform. And same with all of the work I've done, like making videos, podcasts, webinars, everything that I have done terrified me in the beginning. But I was able to move past the terror by seeing myself doing it successfully. And the more I could see myself doing it successfully, the more confidence I built in myself. And studies have shown that we don't get the confidence first and then do the thing. We do the thing and it gives us the confidence. So don't sit around waiting for confidence. Do the thing and that will give you the confidence. So manifestation, maybe for some people it's sitting on the sofa waiting for your wealth to arrive. But for most people, it's waiting for your ideas to arrive and then acting on those ideas, waiting for inspiration to arrive and then acting on that inspiration. It is being willing to go to higher and higher levels of self-expression. It's to develop higher and higher levels of skill and ability so that you can show up in greater form. And as you do that, you begin to have greater self-worth, greater self-esteem, and you can attract much more money and wealth because you believe you deserve it, because you can see yourself having it. You can feel yourself having it. You can experience yourself first on the level of the imagination as having it, and then experience yourself on the level of the physical as having it. It happens first on the level of imagination. So like I said, when I taught that class, I first imagined myself teaching it, and then I showed up in the physical and taught it in the same manner that I imagined it. And this is really the secret formula to manifestation, is you have to manifest it first in imagination, and then you have to continue it. You have to continue seeing it. So I did not do the hypnosis on myself just once. I did it every day, 20 minutes a day until I taught that class. I put myself in self-hypnosis and visualized myself walking into that room, head up high, shoulders back, confident in teaching that class. By the time I actually showed up to teach the class, I had done it over and over and over again in my mind, and all I had to do was show up and do what I had done in my imagination. So it's much like that, in that you have to be able to see yourself on a daily basis being that person that you aspire to be, to step into that higher version, that more confident version of yourself, that version of yourself that has the self-worth that will attract the financial worth. Be willing to do the inner work first. The outer manifestation comes from doing the inner work. And this isn't about grinding away doing all these tasks that you don't want to do. Sometimes there's tasks that we need to do when we're operating a business that we'd prefer not to, but it's really about following inspiration rather than if you don't have that manifestation piece, you often just do what you think you should do and you spin your wheels a lot and you do a lot of tasks that don't result in any fruit. But when you're following inspiration, you're being guided from within. And when you're following that guidance, that will take you to where you need to be to have the level of success and prosperity that you desire. So it's a much quicker way to get somewhere than just coming up with all your own ideas on your own. You know, it's really realizing there's a force, there's a power within you that if you use this power, you will be taken to where you belong. You will be guided. You will be inspired. And this is the energy that we need to tap into. That's going to take us to our wish fulfilled, to that place that we aspire to be. So don't give up on yourself. Stay the course. I want to invite you to join my Wealth Magnet Method course, which gives you the tools and techniques and all that you need to manifest the life of your dreams. I'm going to put that link in the description below and invite you to come and join us in the Wealth Magnet Method. This is a real powerful way for you to get to where you're going. And I'm available for coaching and questions and everything you need within that course. So please don't hesitate to jump in and join me in the effort of becoming your best self. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.